Hi Decatur 101. This is Gary Menard. I'm a fire captain with City of Decatur Fire Rescue. You can see this at Station 1 we've got here at 230 East Trinity Place. We're going to do a virtual tour for you right now since unfortunately you're not able to actually enter the building. If you'll follow me, I'll take you to the first part. So first, you can see right here we've got a very important room, which is the training room. It's not glamour and excitement as you would expect. A lot of our training is actually on the board. It's actually learning through computers and lectures. Firefighting is actually a lot more complex than a lot of people think. So from here, a little more interesting, this is our bay. This is where we keep our apparatus. We've got different apparatus for different functions. You can see this small pumper actually responds to our emergency medical calls. A lot of people, when they think of firefighting, don't think of medical as much. They think of us going out and fighting structure fires, but actually about 90% of what we do is medical calls. And this will house 2 firefighters that will go out and they'll respond to people that are sick, people that are injured, just any general medical calls that come in. But this also does have the capability of pumping a fire. Right here you can see we've got one of our drivers. This is fire apparatus manning. You can see if you're a driver, you're going to spend a lot of time on the care and maintenance of your apparatus. This is a very big piece of equipment. It's very important, so he takes a lot of care with this daily, just making sure that everything's running smoothly. This is called a quint, and it's called a quint because it's got 5 things on it. It has a large aerial ladder on the top, which you can see. This one's 100 feet. It's got a tank full of water. It's got fire hose, it's got ground ladders, and it's got a pump. So those 5 things are what make a quint. Some other things that happen is we can have a hazmat incident. Unfortunately, they do occur pretty rarely, but they have the potential with the train going through the city. This is a hazardous materials response unit. This has hazardous materials, cleanup, dams, dikes, everything that we could use to contain a spill. We do have backup apparatus. If something were to happen to our frontline quint, we've got a backup quint that we can use. This is the unit that most people think of when they think of fire apparatus. This is what's called a pumper, and you can see it doesn't have the big ladder on the top. The primary purpose of this is to pump house fires. And you can see this entire thing is full of 1,000 gallons of water. This hose line is directly connected to the tank, but 1,000 gallons of water can be gone in minutes. So the driver has to make sure that they hook this up to the hydrant, which will take water in from the hydrant, fill the truck up once again, and come out through the pre-connected hose lines. We've got our administrative offices over here. This is where the sergeant sits. He is actually looking at the reports that were put in from the incidents earlier today. Every single response we have has to be documented thoroughly, and they have to do a lot of paperwork. Sergeant Coleman has to go in and make sure they've done it correctly for the state reporting. You may have heard one of the big exciting things about City of Decatur Fire Rescue is our command staff is all women. And I want to introduce you to our Deputy Chief. This is Chief Morrison. This is our Deputy Chief. She's over operations. She makes sure that everything goes smoothly. Do you want to say a few words about yourself, Chief Morrison?
I've been in the city of Decatur for 3 years, started my career in Capt, but I'm happy to be here, happy to be part of this dynamic team here and all the things that Decatur offers to the citizens from the fire department perspective.
Very nice. We'll move on to, you're welcome. We'll move on to Chief Washington. She's the fire chief. She's over the entire department. And she is actually at the top of everything, just managing everything that goes on within this department. And here we are. This is Chief Washington. Chief, did you want to say a few things about yourself?
Glad you are viewing our tour, and I hope you like our station.
The living quarters have a lot of stairs between the bay and where we sleep and eat and all of that. You can see the pole is a quick way to get down, but unfortunately it's not a quick way to get up. So we're gonna have to take the stairs. In case you were wondering about that hose line that goes from the hydrant to the truck, this is that hose line. It's very heavy, very difficult to manage. As we go up here, you can see we've got some old pictures lining the stairwell. We've got a picture of each one of the shifts with their little motto underneath. I believe this is arguably one of the most important rooms in the fire service. This is one of our workout areas, and not only does the community depend on us to be in shape if we actually have to drag somebody out of a fire, but the leading cause of death for firefighters is actually cardiac arrest, and that comes from not conditioning yourself properly. So you can see firefighter Duran is in there working out right now. This is a great little area for that. Now, I don't know if everybody is aware, but we actually work 24 hours at the station and then 48 hours off. So since we actually work for 24 hours, we have to eat here, we have to sleep here. You can see we actually have a fully functioning kitchen over here. Firefighter Sims is cooking some dinner for the crew tonight. We don't actually cook very often. I know the stereotype is that firefighters all cook, and we have very drastically different diets. Everyone has something different they eat, so we kind of bring in our own stuff. Now, I know some people may have heard the myth that firefighters sit around and watch TV while they're waiting for calls. They are not actually allowed to be in these chairs until after 5 o'clock, and that's after they've done all the maintenance on their apparatus, they've done the station cleaning, they've done their training, they've done their reports. There are so many things. They have to have done their physical wellness, and if everything is done after 5, they can sit here until calls come in, and then of course they have to respond quickly. Lastly, as I said, we do sleep here. The sleeping arrangements are not glamorous, and there is a reason for this, because these are purely for sleeping in. They're not to hang out in, they're not to watch TV in. You can see it kind of resembles a little jail cell. It's just got a bed, and it is for you to come in and actually get sleep when you need it between calls, and that's it. So that pole that we mentioned earlier down in the bay, it's actually conveniently centrally located among all of these bedrooms. So if you get a call in the middle of the night, you're fast asleep, and you need to get down to the apparatus, you just go into this room right here. You'll see there's a hole in the floor right here. Again, I'm Fire Captain Gary Menard, and we want to thank you for joining our virtual tour of Station 1. We hope we see you guys in person really soon.